One of the most respected commentary YouTubers right now is John Swan, a channel which has blown up in popularity during the last year due to his highly edited documentary-style videos, as well as his regular interaction with other commentary channels. Despite his large channel size, John has not received much criticism during his time on YouTube, and the times he is criticised, the arguments presented are usually very poor and spouted by degenerates, who have done a number of questionable things. John likes to take a relaxed approach to this, making memes and other jokes about the criticism or person making the criticism. So it may come as a surprise that there is one drama, or criticism, John doesn't like talking about. In fact, when it's mentioned, he gets angry.
No! Fuck no! Go fuck yourself. Fuck off! Go fuck yourself.
That's because this time is different. John has lost long-time fans and admirers from this drama, and the vast majority of the community disagrees with him. Therefore, John views his best bet as trying to hide his deep involvement with the allegations, gaslighting about how he originally handled the situation, making up disgusting rumours out of thin air to discredit criticism, and doubling down on all of this multiple times. Today, I will reveal the side of John Swan we don't often see, the lying, manipulating side. John will finally go, mask off. Let me be clear, I'm no John Swan hater. In fact, I quite like his content. After his last video was released, I complimented him on it in his Discord server. I also defended him against some weird Twitter spurgs who had made disgusting comments about his sister, so even after all John has done, I don't let personal issues get in the way of facts and what is right and wrong. In December of last year, Mr. Toxics, a terrible person for many reasons, posted pretty weird DMs between me and a girl who asked him not to leak it. He ended up posting the DM screenshot on a burner Twitter account, tagging practically everyone I know, and calling me the most disgusting things. Most people who saw the original thread were small commentators and didn't have much of a reaction, apart from criticising Mr. Toxics for leaking a DM from someone else without permission. The larger community only caught on to the allegations via an A-Star tweet, but that isn't the full story. Both John Swan and A-Star's Twitter accounts were suspended in September 2020 due to anonymous Gene and Chris Hansen. Both got their accounts back, but John got us back way earlier than A-Star's. In fact, during the time he was suspended, A-Star created another account which he still uses to this day. Twitter support, that was just a joke. Please don't ban A-Star again. Anyway, A-Star's account didn't have many followers back in early December, so many of his tweets didn't gain traction. The meme tweet referencing the allegation, which by not including my age and using this specific format implies I'm over the age of consent, which I am not, had no eyes on it until John Swan, an account with over 22,000 followers at the time, replied to it and tweeted about it again and again, driving it into the forefront of the community's mind. Admittedly, he didn't quote tweet or retweet his tweets about it, but the sheer volume of tweets about it would more than make up for this. John Swan, more than any other person, obviously apart from Mr. Toxics, blew up this drama into the mess it became, becoming the hero leading the charge against me. It is very clear that without John, none of what transpired would have happened. John, whether he likes it or not, is an influencer, and is a highly respected one at that. After John tweeted at me, many of the same small commentators which thought the drama was stupid did a 180 and started calling me vile things, trying to keep up with whichever side was more popular, with their actual thoughts being irrelevant, again showing the idiocy of small commentators. One of the most disappointing things about this mess was people I'd considered friends turning their backs on me. While, as I admit to this day and apologised for repeatedly at the time of the drama, what I said was weird, and very, very stupid. It was nothing more, and much of what commentators, big and small, said of me was tantamount to slander. You can look in the Wayback Machine or find screenshots of some of this, but the only vile tweets or comments I will show in this video are from people who have refused to apologise to me, or accept some wrongdoing. I completely forgive anyone involved who apologised, so there's no reason to bring up their past. The only exception is that one tweet from A-Star which implies me being a pedo and overage. This is to provide context for the previous and coming up discussion about John's tweets. A-Star and I have talked and worked this all out, so please do not call out A-Star for this. I don't have time to explain exactly how I'm not a P-word in this video, but I recommend videos by Crows of Judgment, Bunk, who goes into great detail about it, and a clip from an Orgy stream. I'll show a few clips now.
I don't know what you want me to say. The guy, the kid is 15. I'll tell you all a secret, right? And it's probably gonna get me fucking canceled. But when I was 14, I dated a girl who I think was 12. We're like a grade apart. But like, she then turned 13, and then I was still 14, but then I turned 15. So that probably means I should be fucking canceled. These guys are fucking stupid as shit.
You need to go, you need to log off. You need to like leave online settings because you cannot have a public platform when you've admitted to this stuff. And this stuff is going to haunt you now, forever online. Like
These dumbasses call this sound therapeutic advice, telling a 15-year-old that this is going to haunt you forever. You can't have an online platform. You need to log off, get off the internet. It sounds like a fucking threat to a 15-year-old. You dumbass. Am I saying like you're threatening to do something? No, it sounds like you are trying to terrify this kid. But again, let's be clear here, because I think that their standard, because they're fucking brain damaged, right, is that because she's 12 and he's attracted to her, right, that means that he will forever be attracted to 12-year-olds. As you get older, right, things change. Stop trying to weaponize accusations of pedophilia. Educate this fucking kid. No, instead you're taking this fucking moral Sorry. Instead you're taking this moral fucking high ground on a 15-year-old, telling him that this will haunt him forever. You can't be online. This is gonna haunt you forever. You can't have a platform. Haunt you forever. Sound therapeutic fucking advice.
dude, I just exposed him. And he might be listening or whatever. You might be thinking like, well, okay, what's wrong with that? He's talking to a 12-year-old. You just talked about red kiwis or whatever. No. Here's the one minor little detail that changes the whole story.
Yeah, that Aiden brings up in the clip.
Pie Man is a retarded 15-year-old, all right? And I'm saying that seriously. He doesn't have any friends. There's DMs where he's like, I've never talked to girls before. Twitter is the only time I get to talk to girls or whatever. So he sends a cringy DM to a 12-year-old while he's 15. 3-year age gap. They're both minors.
But he doesn't know she's 12 at the time.
They're both minors. Well, the DM was like...
It's 15 and 12.
Well, the DM was basically saying stuff like, oh, I just found out you're 12 and I kind of feel like a pedo or something like that. And stuff. It's a sketchy DM. I'm not gonna lie. The DM is sketchy. DM is questionable. That being said, we're talking about 2 minors here. Everyone around this kid, or whatever, this kid is fucked up socially, alright? Everyone around him immediately turns on him. Everyone calls him a pedo or says he's gonna grow up to be a pedo, even though he's like a fucking kid who sent a cringy DM to another kid. This is a nothing burger, guys. I'm sorry, but there's nothing to this. It's 2 kids, alright? I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. Sorry, don't care.
Anything or been neutral.
Dude, I caught in that kid's show. I support him. I am unironically a Pie Man fan. All right, I like Pie Man. I don't give a fuck what he did. I could care less. That's my. Maybe that's a nuclear stance. I don't care.
Let me start by clarifying that the girl involved in this is a hormonal minor in a kind of similar age group, just the same as Pie Man. Why are we holding a 15-year-old accountable for their flirtatious conversations with another minor? A 15-year-old is not smart enough to know what they're saying and know the implications behind what they're saying and really grasp, the concept of sexuality at 15 years old. Now you might be like, oh, well, the age difference, he said he's turned on by that. So, he's a creep. He's a weirdo. Maybe he doesn't even know what that really means. I mean, he's 15. You can't hold him accountable for that. You can't say that, he understands what it means to say that, and then also say, he's too young to date someone who's 20 years old because he's not mature enough yet. You can't have both, especially if what he's saying is true, where, once he learned their age, he kind of backed off. This could definitely be, like a learning experience for the guy. It's definitely not, something easy, but it's not something he should be canceled over.
It's also worth noting that a lot of the commentary community thought the drama was overblown, and I wasn't as bad as many said. John Swan was one of the only large commentators who thought I was a horrible person and that the drama is important. In fact, as I am making this video, John is one of the only commentators who still believes I'm a danger to this community and should get off the internet. John is alone in this drama, so that's why he prefers it if no one pays attention. Nowadays, John likes to gaslight about what he said at the time. He said he'd never said I was a P-word or implied it.
So I told him to not be on the internet, basically, and that's what they're criticizing me for, because I told him not to be on the internet, because he's not. I don't think I think he needs to readjust. He's like not. He needs to do it. I mean, that's fine. If you need to readjust, that's fine.
This is false. John may not have specifically said, at the Pie Man, you are a pedo, but he heavily implied it again and again. For example, when John replied to the A-Star tweet which implied I was a pedo and overage, John just posted a picture of the leaked DM, highlighting the most controversial bit. John didn't mention I was 15 or add any other context to the situation. You might argue that he just found that part weird and wanted to call it out. But then, don't do it this way. You don't introduce a serious situation to 22k followers through memes. Well, maybe he didn't think it was a serious situation. Of course he did. He tweeted that I'm no longer welcome in the community and that I need to leave the internet forever. I don't know who decided John Swan should decide who's allowed in the community, but nevertheless, John thought I was a terrible person and a danger to others. How else can you interpret all that? As well as on stream telling me I have to end my podcast and leave the internet. Perhaps like others who told me to take a break, he was concerned with me and my mental health. John doesn't give a damn about my mental health, and I'll get into this later. If he wanted me to take a break, he would have said so instead of suggesting that I can never come back. How can you interpret this as anything but implying I'm a pedo? Be honest. All my screenshots are from the Wayback Machine. So what happened to John's tweets? Well, the very next day, after an incident which I'll get into later, which made it much more difficult for John to publicly attack me, he deleted all his tweets. That's right. Soon after it became in John's interest to hide his tweets, he got the perfect opportunity to, without looking guilty. Apparently, someone had threatened to mass flag John's tweets, so he had to delete them all. This may seem suspicious, but I believe John. Because I believe it is morally wrong to accuse someone of faking such a terrible thing to escape criticism without any proof. A month after not talking about the drama, a tweet and video mentioning it made John feel like he had to address it. So he did. In the worst way possible. John was clearly angry from this being brought up.
Just fuck off. You are all dumb.
He had a very dismissive tone to the whole thing.
It's in the past and I don't really care.
Like it was a big joke. Troubling due to what I'll discuss soon. And doubled down. Hard. A long time after the community had accepted the truth, and those who did wrong had apologized, he, while gaslighting that he never insinuated I was one of the worst things imaginable, claimed that what was true was bad enough for me to be kicked out of the community, and that he acted perfectly during the entire situation, doing nothing wrong. Remind you of anyone?
No.
He still goes on to say,
I never accused Michael of doing anything.
That was not good, like, from someone that's like, I don't know, Pie Man should not be here.
But at the same time, the stuff that Michael admitted to is stuff that makes me not want to be friends with somebody who is capable of doing those things, even the things he admitted to. I really hope he gets help, because nobody should just carry on doing what he did, and he should try and improve himself.
the way I see it, he's just a dumb kid who can't handle the influence he has. And so he goes on this weird moral crusade against people, and he feels a weird obligation to rid the community of bad actors. The problem with this is that he isn't fit with enough life experience or intelligence to figure out who is a bad actor and who isn't.
You people are taking an allegation with real-life consequences and treating it like petty YouTube commentary drama. This has a lasting impact on him, and it's an incredibly serious situation that has been mishandled in the worst possible way. You guys have lost your privilege of being in charge of the narratives.
This brings me to by far the worst thing John has ever done. Accuse me of suicide baiting.
And I'm just... It came out later. Okay, well, he didn't... Those weren't genuine. That wasn't a genuine thing. He, literally, turned around and said he's fine. So he tried to weaponize a suicide attempt to try and make us feel bad about him saying he was being attracted to a 12-year-old. And I can't condone that. I can't say that's fine, that's cool, that's good. That makes it even worse. But from my perspective, it's like you were literally trying to make people feel bad for you because of things that you brought upon yourself. You can't use that as a scapegoat. You just can't. And it's just like these people were genuinely worried for him over something that just turned out to be completely wrong, and it didn't turn out to be right. This whole thing, he didn't have those genuine feelings, and it's just not on. You don't do that. There's my mask off moment.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
When the debate is lost, the loser resorts to slander.
When the drama occurred originally, my mental state was breaking down. As John himself pointed out, I spent all my time online. All my friends were YouTubers on Twitter. The commentary community was my life. When everyone, friends included, turned on me and started to call me the worst kinds of things, I was distraught. I posted something which I very much regret. However, I had those feelings at the time. That was how I felt. I didn't do it on purpose to get attention or to get sympathy. After a few days, when my mind was more stable, I didn't cheer at how much more people were on my side. I was upset and felt ashamed at how worried I made everyone, including very decent people. John is angry at me for causing people to be worried, and I was, and still am angry at myself for making people worried. But I didn't fake anything. As I said, my life had been shattered, and I contemplated and came close to things I wish I never did. I'm not going to name names, but there are times where the YouTube community assumed someone was faking mental health problems for attention when they weren't. We as a community shouldn't allow ourselves to get to this point again. John says
he literally turned around and said he's fine.
But that is far, far from true. A few days after the incident, my mind was more together, and I no longer contemplated those same thoughts. A lot of this was due to all the people who reached out to me, which helped me a lot. There are too many to name, and I am incredibly grateful to everyone. But as I do want to move on, I'll have the people who helped me the most on screen now. I also want to thank Nicholas Diorio, Turkey Tom, and Cordwit for giving me some genuinely helpful advice. After this, I was not fine. I was still unstable and upset. This is why I left the internet for months. If I only cared about helping my channel and stuff, I wouldn't have taken the break, so I lost Twitter followers and YouTube subscribers during this time. As I said in a DM to my very good friend Michael, which I asked him to post publicly, I literally went to therapy for my mental health. Not to stop me from being a future paedophile like John literally suggested earlier. This was not weaponizing suicide. This was very, very real. When John accused me of faking it for attention or sympathy, this is what made me mad. Before then, I didn't want to deal with this drama anymore, so I wasn't planning on making this video, and I was content with putting it in the past. But John Swan arrogantly believing he was the only one who knew my true intentions, claiming terrible things with zero evidence, that was too far. I understand sometimes people lie about things like this, like racism and his heart attacks, but there was reason to doubt that. Things didn't add up. My situation did add up. Aiden and Augie make it clear here.
All the people talking about them, they knew he was socially inept, but maybe they need to look at their own social ineptitude with how they reacted to the situation.
I was following this from the very, very beginning, and I told everybody how stupid they were. I know everyone who fucking said it at the beginning.
Yeah, guys I know
who the fuck you are. You called an autistic 15-year-old who's socially awkward. You got about 100 people to call him a pedophile over and over and imply that he's gonna be a future groomer. Do you know how fucking disgusting that is? Like, my friends of mine, I've now decided to distance myself from because of this whole fucking situation. I'm ashamed right now.
Aiden's right.
People that I like had awful fucking takes on this. I'm not gonna name them. I'm not gonna name them, but people that I like. Yeah, you gotta understand too. This kid is not a YouTuber. All right. Yeah, he has a video out, but he's not a YouTuber. He's some 400 sub followers spurg on Twitter. All right. He looks up to all of us. All right. He thinks we're all badasses. We're all heroes or whatever. If you're a really, socially off kid who has superheroes on the internet that are all just shitting on him, telling him he's gonna grow up to be the worst thing in the world, what do you expect's gonna happen? The kid's gonna go AWOL. He's gonna go haywire.
Sympathize with this kid because I was I'm incredibly socially awkward IRL. I use the internet as an escape sometimes, and if this happened to me while I was a small YouTuber, I don't think I would have been able to fucking take it as well. These weren't Twitter randos that did this. This was our own fucking community. And it's just so fucking gross that something like this happened and people didn't think to themselves before they all started fucking dogpiling on this fucking socially awkward 15-year-old. You'll be lucky if this kid accepts your fucking apologies because those apologies, they don't deserve to be fucking accepted. You're only apologizing because you know what you did looks so fucking shitty, and I hope it follows you and you look like a dumbass the rest.
It's clear why John did this. Not because he actually believed in what he said, but to escape criticism once again. With how much John wants to get away from this drama, you could say that, from responsibility, he ran, hiding like his Anne. John's worst fear is being viewed as a flawed human being like everyone else. As a commentary YouTuber, it's John's job to put himself on a higher pedestal than the people he criticizes. So John takes this and runs with it, trying to be the criticizer who can't be criticized. But unlike someone like Colossal Looks Crazy, who could actually stake a claim to that title, there are things John has done wrong. This is why John tries so hard to avoid admitting to doing anything wrong. This is why to this day, John refuses to apologize to me, because an apology is an admission of wrongdoing.
You want to tell me, right? Where's my apology? Never. Absolutely never. Because I did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. So no, absolutely not. Not happening. There you go. There's my response. So you guys can fuck off now and leave me alone, because I've finally done it. People, like, they spam my shit with this, like, over and over and over and over. You need to apologize. You need to apologize. You need to apologize for this. Apologize for that. No. Fuck no. Absolutely not. If you think I should apologize, go fuck yourself.
I don't want to destroy John Swan's career, like that would happen anyway. I enjoy his content and wish the best for his success. However, I think John needs to be more mature, grow up, and take some responsibility. No matter your thoughts on John, whether you're a fan or his friend, I think I've provided enough information to prove that John is not perfect. He has made mistakes deserving of an apology. This is why I want everyone who watched this video to tweet #ApologizeJohnSwan. While a few Spurg small commentators may just slightly annoy him, enough commentators big and small who join in may convince him to show a little humility. I view myself as a reasonable, forgiving person. Everyone involved with the drama who has apologized, no matter what they said or did, I have completely forgiven, and would never bring up what they did again. If John apologizes, I would do the same, forgive him, and implore everyone else to do the same and not bring this up again. It's only fair. What happened with John Swan was an example of a commentator being too respected for their own good, where they're too scared to accept criticism. I hope this never happens again to anyone else, but for now, I'm only looking for 2 words from John. I'm sorry.
The commentary community has stands too. You're all brain dead. You're not looking at the situation logically. You're acting like fucking stands, and you're just taking John Swan's side when John Swan can't be the victim. It's impossible for him to be the victim. Pie is the victim in this situation, and John Swan is not the victim. End of story.
Let's go off the script. Scrap the final page. I don't know why we read them, man, they're all the same. Let tomorrow wait. Let's take a little time. Don't worry about the daylight. Just keep on talking line by line. 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. Close your eyes and keep on talking line till we get to the other side. Close your eyes, we only talking.